Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. My name is Zaji, and today I want to share with you a little bit about some sewing things. In particular, I'm going to be talking about the pattern that I'm wearing. This is Tilly and the Buttons Skye pattern. I'm sure that you have seen this on your feed or heard something about it. If not, get into it. Go on that website, check it out. Spoiler alert, I love it. So without further ado, go ahead and click that subscribe if you aren't subscribed and turn on your notifications so that you do not miss a single upload from me. And let's get started. I don't know why I'm feeling so rushed. I guess it's because I want to get my AC back on because I obviously have to turn it off when I'm filming because I don't want there to be like weird background noise, which, you know, listen, I'm trying my best here. We're in a slightly different location because my studio is a complete mess. So I'm just going to be reviewing today. I actually did do a full blog post on this pattern talking a little bit more about construction changes and things like that. And that will be linked in the description box down below. Make sure that you actually subscribe to the website so that you're actually able to get those blog posts to your email right away. I will have a link within the post for you to be able to do that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. This pattern is, as I mentioned, Skye from Tilly and the Buttons. I received this pattern for free. I was not paid to sew it up or anything like that. But they were like, hey, we think you'd like this. And I was like, hey, I really think I do. And I had to make it. So the one significant thing about this pattern that I want to talk a little bit about is the fact that I use my projector. This is actually the first project that I actually used with my projector. I will have a video playing, or maybe has already played, of me doing the kind of sew with me that I did on Instagram Reels. And I might actually add it onto my YouTube page as well because it is quite relevant. But yeah, it's hard with copyright because I use songs that I love in my videos and that's a whole thing. Anywho, I used my projector to cut this out. The fabric that I used is the Wild and Mustard fabric that I talked about in a haul that I had on this channel. I will put that linked up for you so that you're able to check it out after this video, of course, and see the other fabrics that I actually talked about in that video. Now, I did not make the pattern that I originally thought I was going to make with this fabric. And one thing that I really like about this design is that it's quite roomy. It's got a lot of, I'm not gonna be able to show that to you. I'm not gonna be able to show that to you right here. But it's got a lot of room in it. It's quite spacious. The armholes are fitted though. It's not like baggy. But I love the fact that I will be able to put this over top of sweaters and it be kind of like a pinafore when it gets to be fall time, and I can be cutesy with tights and boots. But I also love that in the summertime it is amazing. It is so hot outside today. And it feels so comfortable to have this dress on outside. I live in a quite dry climate, so the wind is hot, okay? Wind is hot, but when it's blowing, you know, through this dress, it doesn't, you know, feel clingy and too much to fuss around with. This is a perfect sweaty summer dress. Hashtag sweaty summer dress. Anyways, I am obsessed with this. I did a size 4 in this pattern. I think that that's normally the size that I make with Tilly patterns. I'm pretty sure the Stevie dress that I made earlier in the year, or earlier in the summer, I'm pretty sure that dress is a size 4 as well. This one is a size 4 too. I think that I could go down to a size 3 if I wanted something a little bit more tight and fitted, which I don't want, but I think that I could because I do still have a good bit of room in the bust. And of course the hip and waist, all of that is quite loose and flowy. So if I wanted something just a little bit tighter, then I could, I think, go down to a size 3. This pattern has a couple of different versions. I did the mini length version. I only made one adjustment, which was to lengthen the skirt of this pattern. I was originally thinking that I might lengthen the bust line, but that wouldn't have been an accurate adjustment for me to make, because my bust is not abnormal from the block. It's my waist that's abnormal from the block, or the sewing pattern that she has. So I ended up adding to the skirt length, and I think that that worked out perfectly for me. I could have stood to add a little bit less. I probably could have gone with maybe a 1/2 inch or maybe even 3/4 of an inch less length, and it would be more mini style. But, you know, at the knee length, it's still very comfortable, still very breezy. I don't think it's an awkward length at all, but it's just maybe not as mini as the mini version was intended to be. And I did do that with my projector. Like, what the? That is a learning curve. Making adjustments with your projector is definitely a different ball game. I think when you do those types of things, you definitely want to start with paper and make the adjustment on the paper with your projector, and as opposed to using slippery, slidey, unpredictable viscose fabric. But I ended up making it work. It's not a crazy adjustment. The pattern piece is quite rectangular. Oh yeah, I did the shoulder ties, and I have a little trick on what I did with that to keep my bra strap in the strap so that it isn't as exposed. And I know that Tilly talks about on her blog how to do a thread chain, but I did something that's just, I think, a wee bit less fussy and no hand sewing. And all I did was bar tack the straps, the little faux ties. I bar tack them to one side of the binding, just on the edge. And so what that does is when I untie this bow, it's just flat. It's just tied under one. So I can put my bra strap within the strap of the shoulder and put the little tie underneath my bra and then tie it all up as one, and it's so secure. Bra strap wear, I mean, come on, that's amazing. I thought that was a great way to also conceal the bra strap and not have to worry about doing a thread chain and hand sewing, because y'all know I hate hand sewing. I detest having to hand sew anything. So I was not going to do that thread chain situation, but I think this is a really good way to not only keep your straps attached to your dress when you wash, so you don't have to go looking for them all the time. And I really don't like the way that straps look like this when you have them just kind of sewed down, like you have to sew it up or tie it up and sew it down, because it's so difficult to get that strap to be not all crinkled up after, especially if you're using viscose and you put it in the washer and in the dryer. When it comes out, it's a big old crinkled up mess, and you're trying to like use your iron to like straighten it out, and it's just like a hassle. But with these, they come out just straight, so I can just iron them straight, tie them up, and they look super cute. This pattern is fairly easy. I think the only issue that anyone would potentially have with this dress is definitely within the binding on the neckline. My binding is alright. Definitely not the best woven binding that I've done by far, but I think that I had issues because I used self fabric to make my binding. I don't know if it would have been any different if I would have used pre-packaged or pre-prepared binding, but it is quite a bit more work to try to do binding with viscose fabric because it is quite slinky and, you know, all of that. So I think even if I would have used something that's a little more stable, like a cotton lawn, or even just like quilting cotton cut on the bias, I think that would be fine too. But you know, I think it looks nice. I don't think it looks atrocious or anything like that. For the most part, this pattern is, the pattern on the fabric is quite busy enough to where most of the binding kind of just melts in with the print, I think. I don't know. I'm not going to go back and fix it. But for the next one, I was thinking about some other changes that I wanted to make. The next version of Skye that I make, I do want to make the maxi length. I have a really cute border print that I think would be absolutely perfect for this design. And since it's so quick to whip up, I might, and I also am thinking about, now hear me out, I'm probably going to do just a double layered bodice and enclose the skirt into the bodice instead of doing binding. Binding is great. It keeps things light. It uses a little bit less fabric, but I think if I were to literally just line the top of this bodice and do the bust darts the same, that I would prefer that. And also I think it would be just a hair quicker to make because I'm not having to worry about doing the binding and all of that. I would still be able to get all of this neckline shaping and using a lightweight fabric, especially if it ends up being a viscose fabric, as I mentioned before. I think it will still be nice and breathable and breezy. And especially if I'm making the maxi length, I think that having it lined like that will give it still a lot of structure for a dress that'll be quite long, because I am quite long. And I talked about in a previous video where I talked about all the things that I made in June, I talked about, hey, you know, I'm gonna give maxi length dresses a little bit of a break. And I think I am. As I mentioned before, I think this pattern could be something that I layer, which is the only reason why I'm thinking about making a maxi length version of this dress, because I think in the winter time, making this version, maybe without the ties, I don't know if I will keep the ties on the maxi length, but I think it will still be really cute for fall time styling under sweaters or with sweaters over top. Just something that's really nice to put together and easy to wear. I love when I find a pattern that's like that. And I find that I just prefer sewing up woven dresses a lot more than knit dresses for myself. Because this summer I really haven't dug into a lot of my knit fabrics. I really haven't purchased a lot or really received a lot of knit fabrics either. And I think that come the winter time, I might delve into the knits a little bit more, but I want to incorporate some of my favorite dresses, woven dresses, like this dress. And also, as I was saying, I like to make maxi length dresses for the winter time because I love being able to layer a bunch of stuff under there and then conceal all that layerage with a really pretty flouncy dress. It's my fave thing. There's a lot of different hacks that I've been thinking about for doing for Skye. I'm not going to talk about those potential hacks because I do want to make them as blog posts and be able to talk about them a little bit more in that way. But like I said, this pattern is so fast, so perfect for summertime right now. I really see the longevity of this pattern in my stash. And I love how quick it comes together. If the changes that I talked about already, like by lining it, ends up working out for me, I can really see this being one that I can use for small amounts of fabric. I was able to get this dress out of just 2 yards, and that's awesome. There's a fair bit of this fabric left over. I think this will be a pattern that I reach for with lightweight wovens and small increments of fabric that I have. I think it will be really nice. I'm wondering what this will be like in a corduroy or like a pinwall corduroy, like really lightweight corduroy. I think that would be a super cute pinafore. I don't know why I just want this to be a pinafore, but I just think it's so cute, and it has the same kind of ease in it that I think would work really well with layering in general. So anyways, that's where I'm gonna love you and leave you. Be sure to check out that blog post, please, 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 and subscribe to this channel and to my blog so that you don't miss anything from me. And yeah, have a great day. Bye-bye.